want to touch on this real briefly before I get off this live. Now, last night I did a video, and in the video, I addressed trans women, some trans women, thinking like men. Now, I want to expound on that for just a second and what I meant by that. Like, a lot of people, you understood it, obviously, by the people who emojied it. Y'all understood it even though I was in like a mildly boots state, a little tipsy, you know what I'm saying, off the heezy for sheezy, but y'all understood. And when I said that trans women, some trans women, think like men, what I mean is, when we understand that most men stereotypically aren't the ones who feel like that automatic connection to the children from the moment the child is in the womb, from the moment the child, you know what I'm saying, starts being formed inside the womb. Like, there's not that connection. So we've heard more stories about fathers being able to walk away, about fathers being able to be detached from their seed or their offspring, like not really feeling that connection. And I know what that shit feels like too. You know, not really just having like no real close, like spiritual connection with your biological father, because they don't have to carry you. They don't have to make room. They don't have to make room for that developing life inside of them. They don't have to have capacity for that. They don't have to spend 9 months or 9 months or however long the baby is inside of their body growing inside of them. Now, true, all women don't experience childbirth, but the female form was the form that was originally given the capacity to carry life, okay? So with that being said, if females many times are innately given the capacity to carry life and to care for something without that thing having given anything to them. Right now, this thing is just taking. This thing is growing inside of them. This being is growing inside of them. This little ancestor is growing inside of them. And it is feeding off of them. It's eating off of them. It's taking from them. It's not really giving them anything right now. And the things that it does give, it gives because it's going to need it later on. So like the breast starts swelling because there's milk up in there. The baby going to need that when it come up out of there. The baby going to need that back. You know what I'm saying? So females, you know, in if we look at this, how things were designed by design, females were designed to care for something without expecting anything in return. They were designed to give selflessly. They were physically designed to give of themselves. It was by design to be able to give, to be able to nurture, to be able to make space, capacity. My God is God today. They were designed for that. Now, not everybody who was born with the equipment always lives up to the potential or the possibility. Not everyone who was born with the equipment always lives up to the potential or the possibility, but they were still designed with capacity. So when I say a lot of trans women think like men, I'm saying that you're thinking like a man in terms of you don't know what it's like to innately care about something just because that's how you was built. Not expecting anything in return, not expecting to get anything back, not expecting to get anything out of it, because that's what mothering is. That's what caring and making space for something is about. You may not get anything back out this shit. It might grow up to be a bomb, it might be a failure, it might let you down, but you still had to make space. You still had to have capacity. And if you were any kind of mother, you still had to care for and nurture this, but there may be nothing in it for you down the road, other than the experience of carrying life inside of you, but there may be no fruit beyond that. But you still had to have capacity. You still had to have space for someone who was depending on you for survival. My Goddess God today. You still had to love someone, care for someone, be there for someone or something that may never give you anything back. See, men don't have to love like that. Men don't have to have that type of capacity because men typically aren't built like that. But now, you know, we have to identify. Oh, somebody gave it to me. My daughter gave it to me. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful. But now, you know, acknowledging the trans man, men under the construct, men do have, there are men who have capacity. There are men who are carrying life inside of them. There are men who are doing those things. But when we look at the original design, when we look at how this construct originated and how this was all meant to be thought of, the intentions for this reality, we understand that cisgender men, which is many times how a lot of trans women act, like mentally, like they be beautiful to look at, but mentally they still think like cisgender men. And sweetheart, a lot of things you can say about me. Yes, I got my man side, I got my boy side. Yes, I will never deny it is a Antoine in me. He lives in there. He lives in me. He is a part of me. But sweetheart, he does not drive this car. He does not drive this car, and he never has. He never has. I've always thought about other people besides my... Now, when I was younger, I ain't gonna lie, when I was like 11, 12 years old, it was about me. But child, I was a child. Child, I was very selfish when I was little. When I was 10 and 11 years old, I was very spoiled. I was very selfish. I was very me. It was very much me. And it was a learning experience. And I think part of the reason why it was me, because I got so much attention and I got so much praise and I got so much privilege and I got violence, if that's what you want to call it. I got so much from being a little boy. I thought I was better. For the longest time, I was the only boy. For the longest time, it was all girls and one boy. Me. The closest thing to a boy. All because I had that penis. So for a long time, I was the only one I was the only grandchild who had a penis. And I thought, you know, hey, once At first, I didn't see a difference when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. But child, when I started to get 10 and 11, honey, and you know, I started to get away with stuff that my sisters and my cousins and you know, they couldn't get away with, honey. That shit went to my head. Thank you, Baptist Church. Thank you, patriarchal government. Yeah, I had a moment where that shit went to my head. That's what I meant when I was saying that sometimes trans women can act like men. A lot of them aren't built with the capacity to genuinely just be concerned about something that doesn't benefit them in some way. What am I gonna get out of this? What's gonna come out of this? What am I getting from this? You know what I'm saying? How is this gonna work out for me in the long run? You know what I'm saying? If I give you this, then I need to get 3 times back from you. And that's not me. That's not how I am. I'm not expecting you to give me 3 times what the fuck I gave you. Like, no. Like, just at least have the capacity to acknowledge me though. Damn.